Welcome back. I want you to think back for a moment to a time when you were fresh out of school. You're offered a dream job with a good salary, health insurance, maybe even some vacation days. You would snap it up in a heartbeat, right? You'd probably work there for the rest of your life, too. In the old days. Yes, of course you would then. But now that isn't the case. In fact, more and more people are accepting those jobs, but then ghosting their employers, taking the job but never showing up. It sounds ridiculous, I know, but companies say it's happening with up to 20% of their new hires. It's mostly Gen Z, people in their teens and early 20s, and before the last break, we heard from some of them. But now I want to see if we can figure out why it's happening and if it's temporary. Are they being too picky? Are they too lazy? Or are today's communication skills a world away from yesterday's? I'm joined by two people who know all about this topic. Dr. John Duffy is a clinical psychologist and the author of the book, Parenting the New Teen in the Age of Anxiety. And Darby Fox is a child and adolescent therapist who wrote the book, Rethinking Your Teenager, Shifting from Conflict and Control to Structure and Nurture to Raise Accountable Young Adults. Welcome to both of you. Thanks for joining me. Dr. Duffy, I'm going to begin with you if I can. Before the break, we heard from the Gen Zers, and they said that they felt a lot of pressure, that they didn't want to upset people who hired them, sometimes indecisive, that there was anxiety. So my question for you is this laziness, or is this a new societal problem that's unique to them?
Yeah, it's a great question, Ashleigh. It looks like laziness. I know it does. But I really do think that what they were saying is, by and large, really true. Young people now are super discerning about their workplace. And so they have different needs and wants. And the pandemic has only exacerbated that, where they realize, oh, we don't have to work the number of hours that our parents worked at their early jobs in order to be efficient. And you're right, they want to be loyal. They want to stay in certain workplaces, but they're not willing to risk their emotional well-being in order to do so. And I don't think we're looking at something temporary. I think they're more and more discerning, and the more information that they have access to, the more discerning I think they're going to become.
So, Darby, let me jump in with you, because there's this recent study that came out that asked recent graduates what they wanted from a brand new job. And I was amazed at the top two things. Number one is proper mental health support. And number two is being able to talk openly about mental health at the office. Does that surprise you that mental health just ranks so high on what they want to see in their workplace?
No, I don't think it does, because we really are in an age, and it really escalated with COVID, that there was this awareness something was missing, and people felt isolated with that before. And now we've created an environment where it's okay to say, I have anxiety, or I could be depressed. And so I think that's a really important, if you will, outcome of COVID, a positive outcome.
So I learned this term today, sort of with regard to this topic, conflict avoidance. And Dr. Duffy, it seems to me, just from our, initial research, that a lot of these young people really struggle with conflict. And it doesn't have to be aggressive conflict. It can just be having to talk to someone about something that isn't fun. And that's sort of a unique issue, because when we were growing up, we just bit the bullet. I feel like we didn't have a choice. The choices may not always be there for these kids. Are they going to be able to deal with it when they won't have so much luxury of choice?
Right. Yeah, it's actually really concerning, Ashleigh, because young people, this conflict avoidance is a serious problem, and they lack, because in part of the pandemic, the practice effect of just connecting and talking with adults. And so this anxiety has increased enormously, and they believe they're less resilient than they are. In other words, they could handle the job interview, they could handle the job if they were just willing to take those first steps. But there's so much anxiety and avoidance that so many young people that we're working with, and I suspect Darby will agree, are stepping way back and are not willing to even, leave the house some of the time, much less go take all that resilience it takes to go and get a job and tenacity to get to work and to get there every day. So I do think that there's some anxiety issues we're going to have to overcome with young people in order to just get them in the space where they learn how competent and resilient they actually are.
Yeah, because listen, I think a lot of Gen Zers are way smarter than I was when I was their age. I'll tell you that much. They've just absorbed so much more information at a rate that's just almost incomparable. But Darby, I grew up with wars and recession and disease, and I didn't get any special accommodations for it. That was all very painful struggle. It was all very, distasteful. But I do wonder if there's more stress today, or if we're just better at communicating, have more avenues to communicate, and we're acknowledging it more now.
Well, I think it's kind of a combination, Ashleigh. Really, there are a lot of the same or maybe escalated problems. There's, currently with the war, the pandemic is something we never had to deal with before. But really, I think there is less tolerance and less ability, because we've started to communicate really by phone or on a screen. So we don't really have to be accountable in an in-person way. And I think that has created a lot of the issues and the doubt, what you're talking about, John, with the resilience. If you haven't really done it in real time, you don't know how to do it. And I think that is more of an issue than actually a much more stressful environment.
Yeah, like break the seal. You just got to break the seal and everything will be okay. It's just easier said than done. Dr. John Duffy and Darby Fox, I just love talking to both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.